Okay, looks like I don't need to press anything anymore. Good. So we're going to get started seated as always on a bolster or a block or chair. You could even sit like this if you don't want the easy sit position. So choose what works for you and then softly close your eyes. Just taking a moment to close your eyes, shutting down your primary sense organ is the most the easiest way to get inward, which is what we really want to do today. So after you've closed your eyes, or another option is a nice unfocused gaze in front of you. You're going to really feel those sits bones grounded in either the block or a cushion or your chair. And then bring your attention to your spine. So making sure your spine, head, and neck is in one line. And this is that perfect posture that we want to try to keep throughout the whole day. From here, bringing your attention to your shoulders, pulling your shoulders down and back. Bring your attention to your hands, and you can really do whatever you want, but a few options: hands up, pulls from the energy around us, palms down. That some days we just need to be grounded because there's too much stuff going on. One palm and the other is a nice neutral option. Some people have certain mudras that they like to use. That's just a hand position, so you can do that as well. From here, bring your attention to your head and imagine a golden thread is just pulling your head softly to the sky, keeping you in this beautiful straight spine. From here, starting with the breath is always with us. So just notice your natural breath right now, not even trying to change it at all, just noticing the natural breath. If you can, in through the nose, out through the nose. And now bring your attention to your bodies. Just notice anything that's going on with your body today. Could be something as minor as feeling hungry, a slight headache, or maybe just feeling something from already sitting for a couple of minutes. So just notice, what are you feeling? Is there anything in your back or knee? Then bring your attention to the Manamaya Kosha, the mental things that are usually the bigger obstacle for most people unless you're in chronic pain. So these are all the thoughts, things you have to do list, good things, bad things, all of those swirling thoughts that your mind is trying to distract you from your practice. So just notice what's going on. From here, just going to do a really short breath awareness today. So first, I'd like you to notice the breath, the feel of the breath as it comes in and out through your nostrils. So notice the breath as it comes in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. How does it feel? And I'd like you to try to make the feeling, the best adjective, soft. And you make the breath soft. Soft as you inhale, soft as you exhale. Just taking a couple more breaths, noticing the sensation through the nostrils, making it soft. From here, I'd like you to take a moment to feel the breath in your belly. So feeling it in the belly. Reminding yourself of the nice yoga breath is on an inhale, belly expands out, puffs out. On an exhale, belly goes in. Inhale, belly goes out. Exhale, belly goes in. Notice 2 more breaths like that, just focusing on the belly exclusively. And the last thing I'd like you to do in this breath awareness is to actually take a moment to hear the breath. Now you're working on that soft breath, so it might not be very loud. And I'll be quiet for a couple moments so you can just take your attention on hearing your own breath. You can continue to focus on hearing your own breath. I'm just going to read something that I thought was really nice about what is yoga. People are always asking, what is yoga? And this was from Yoga Journal. I thought it was a good description. Yoga is heartfelt. It harmonizes the body, mind, and spirit. The type of yoga I practice and teach is called Kripalu Yoga. In Sanskrit, Kripalu means being compassionate, and the tenet is reflected in this unique approach to yoga. This nourishing practice invites us to cultivate a connection with the wholeness of our being through self-acceptance, self-observation, and self-awareness. Kripalu Yoga can be likened to having an attentive, loving conversation with the breath and body. It is an opportunity to be fully present, to listen, and to respond to the body's inherent wisdom with kindness and curiosity. Accessibility to any level, or accessible to any level. Kripalu Yoga encourages you to discover and honor what your body needs moment by moment. By gently engaging the breath, there can be an opportunity to feel and witness bodily sensations, habitual thoughts, and emotional patterns, allowing them to unfold without judgment. I thought that was a nice description of yoga. So from here, just fluttering the eyes open. I always like students to pause at least for one moment before you get moving, just to take all of that centering that you did in. Just one more breath here. And then going to move off. If you did sit on a bolster or a block or a chair, coming back to the floor. We could do some of these from the chair. I'm actually teach a chair yoga class now, and so there are a lot we can do from a chair. But let's start moving in great big circles here. So these are hip circles. Maybe each class you started getting a little bit lower, meaning your nose a little bit lower to the floor. Just getting some movement, countering all of the sitting that we do all day long. Couple more like this. And then pause and go the other direction. Just notice where you feel it. Are you feeling it in your hips or your knees or somewhere else entirely? Just trying to get some movement. So again, this is one you could do from a chair. Chair yoga, we do this. And then coming back, we're going to do our cats and cows also from this seated position. So on an inhale, drop your belly. This is your cow breath. Shine your heart forward and look up. On an exhale, your hands are on your knees. You're hollowing out your belly and arching back. Inhale, look up, and exhale. And pause at the exhale, feel the middle back stretching, and just continue this on your own. So chair yoga is great. A lot of people come where I teach because they're recovering from, let's say, a knee surgery or something like that. But chair yoga is also done in corporate situations because a lot of places there's no room to have everyone out with their mats on the floor. But everybody has a chair that they have to sit in all day. So it's kind of a cool thing. Coming back and coming back to center. Might feel good to stretch those legs out already. You can either stretch them out straight and just shake, or maybe go side to side. You are going to come back to cross-legged. So I'm sure you remember which leg was in front. That would be your habitual way, right? We always do it that way. So just mix it up and go the other way. Usually we know right away because it feels a little bit awkward. From here, fingertips on your shoulders. You're going to twist, look over your back shoulder, and back to center, and twist the other way, and back to center. So as you're twisting, the spine is still long. So the whole class, mostly, we want to have this beautiful posture and a long spine. Twisting, and center, and twisting, and center. Release your hands. It's another way we can do a twist as well. So inhale, arms up. This hand, one hand behind your knee, other hand behind your back. You can't see my hand, but it's back here. I'm going to look at that back elbow. Use the hand that's on my knee as leverage to help me twist even deeper. How's your belly? Your belly should not be facing me at the screen. It should be twisting towards the side. And then inhale up, shoulders back and down. So we don't want this kind of thing. This is what we do all day anyway. Pulling down. And then one hand behind the knee, other hand on the floor. Look at the hand on the floor. And then inhale up. How are those shoulders? Down. There we go. And other side. Look behind you. Inhale, we're up. Shoulders down. Exhale, twisting. This is the last time looking over that shoulder. And release to center. Going to do lateral or side stretches. So making sure you've got a little bit of space to the side. The left arm reaches out, spread the fingers wide. Right arm reaches over. Reach, reach, reach. And the first one, we're just going to pause here. In and out. So see if you can feel the stretch from the armpit all the way to the fingers. And then I'm going to do that on the other side. So hoping there's some space there. Reach, reach, reach. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. Back to that first side. Reaching. This time turning your gaze to the sky. And of course, this is going to make breathing harder. So just practicing breathing with the compressed lung. Breathing in, breathing out. One more. Look down at your hand. Softly push yourself up. We do that on the other side. So reach, reach, reach. Turn your gaze to the sky. And try to do a soft breath, just like you did at the beginning of class. Gaze is down. Softly push yourself up. Last time, you're going to come on that elbow or forearm, if that works. If not, just do another version like this. But if you can, and you can keep this opposite sit bone down, it'll just be deeper. But we're just trying to get a little deeper. And out. One more. Gently push yourself up. Second side, last time. So if you can on the forearm, otherwise back on the hand. Notice how this opposite sit bone is glued to the mat. And then softly push yourself up. Again, this might be a good time just to stretch out those legs. Maybe straighten them out and shake them out a little bit. Whatever feels good there. I'm going to come into, move to the side, just so you can see a little Baddha Konasana, also called butterfly pose, cobbler's pose. The soles of your feet are together. You can decide how vigorous this will be. If you pull your feet out, it'll be less. If you pull them in, it's more. Palms are going to be on the sides of your feet, and you're just going to flap your butterfly wings. Just doing this simple movement creates a lot of circulation in the inner thighs and gets a good stretch. Just starting out pretty easy here. But how's your spine still? Notice that the tendency right away, and I see this every day, this. That's exaggerated, but you know what I mean, right? So we're pulling up, shoulders back and down. Couple more breaths like this. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. From here, I'm going to lean forward, doing a dynamic stretch, meaning moving a few times. So you're going to hinge forward, kiss your toes, and then come back up, shoulders down. And again, inhale, lean forward to see how things are feeling. Back up. Last one, you're going to lean forward, and it's really hinging. You're not trying to round. Imagine the hips are a hinge here. You're just hinge forward, so the back's pretty straight. Stay here. And this is where you're going to take some deep breaths. How's your mind? Is your mind already wandering? So just keep bringing it back. Two more breaths here. And then walking yourself out. You have the legs in that great big V. So usually what I see right away are two things. People's feet kind of turn in. That's our more natural position. So we don't want that. And then we don't want to point it. I see a lot of dancers doing that. So we're flexing, right? So flexing and maybe using a block for this one or two. See what you need. Every day is a little bit different. So from here, I'm going to start walking forward. Walking forward. And as soon as you feel that deep stretch, pause. And again, notice how it's a lot easier if your feet are not flexed, but we want a good stretch. And coming forward, maybe you're on your forearms. Maybe today's a good day for a block. You decide. Coming to those deep breaths. If you're lucky enough to get a little more openness in your thighs, only then in your inner thighs will you walk forward a little bit more. So you just see where you are today. And unfortunately, yoga is not a trajectory straight up. Sometimes we have days where it feels like it's a few steps back, but in general, you're moving forward with flexibility, strength, and balance. But every day is a little bit different. So see if you can give me 3 more really deep yoga breaths. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Maybe you walk your hands a little bit forward now. And then walk yourself back out, palms at the top. You're gonna do head to knee pose. So this is another opportunity for a strap or a tie, whatever you have at home. Let's start with the left leg on the inside of the right thigh, and then turning the hips towards that extended leg. I've got left foot on the inside of the right thigh. I'm gonna reach my arms up, never wanna go like this, right? So shoulders back and down, shine the heart forward and just see, can you easily grab that toe? If not, this is why you've got your strap on the ball. So it looks like that on the ball of my foot as I'm reaching forward. And the whole time, yoga is always hinging. So even as you're doing this, which is to the side and a little awkward, you're still hinging your hips rather than just rounding in a ball like this. So think about that hinging action. And just like the other pose, you're just going to stay here and breathe. One more breath. Walking yourself up, feet flat on the mat. Before you go to the other side, just do a few windshield wipers. Couple one way and the other way. And then getting ready for the second side. So the left leg is extended and the right. Left leg extended, right on that thigh, twisting. So you're facing the extended. And again, your foot's flexed, right? Inhale. Exhale, shine your heart forward. Just see if you can easily grab your foot. And once again, if a strap would be helpful. And just notice if you're continually having to bring your mind back. If so, it's totally normal. Just think about staying present. 2 more breaths here. Walking yourself back up slowly. Again, your feet flat on the mat, just doing a few windshield wipers. So this next one, I'm going to give you 2 options, either shoelace pose or seated pigeon. So I'll show shoelace pose first. Left leg is bent, right leg's on top. So it looks like this, stacked. Now there might be a whole lot of room in between the 2 knees, that's okay. So here's option 1, I'll show you option 2 in a moment. This is option 1, and then you're going to start walking forward. So it's all going to get into this outside. If that is not working for today, for whatever reason, I'm going to do what's called seated pigeon. So your feet are flat on the mat, hands behind you just to hold you up. Right leg crosses over, and it looks like this. If you don't feel enough stretch, you're going to take that foot, heel toe it in closer until you feel a stretch. But again, we're not like this. We're straight spine, and we're kind of pushing in to the floor. Again, you feel it right here, right? Do you feel it in the same spot? Some people's knees don't like the seated shoelace. Just see where you are today. And here you go with your breath. Two more deep yoga breaths. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then walk yourself off. Just pause at the top. Going to change legs. So if you're doing the shoelace, the right leg's on the bottom, the left is on top, and it looks like this. Or we're doing this on the other side. And again, it might not look exactly like this. Maybe that leg's farther away. It doesn't matter. As long as you can feel the stretch, and it should be in the outside hip, that's fine. So you decide which of those is going to work. We haven't even started the breath yet. So we're going to get started here with some deep breaths. And then walking yourself out. My puppy's in the room snoring right next to us. So if you can't hear that, it's pretty loud. So I put him out. So here we go, going back and forth with our legs. And it might feel good to straighten out after that as well. I'm going to do a few things for neck and shoulder. So from this, you're going to come back to cross-legged position, that really nice straight spine. You're just going to take a moment to look over to the side. So the left shoulder and center and right and center. Such a simple movement that adds so much freedom to our neck if we take the time every morning, maybe just to stretch our neck just a little bit. And center. And center. From here, ear to shoulder. And if that feels okay, you're going to take the same hand to the left hand, just place it softly on the head. Other arms out, your palm facing me, and just some little circles here. See if you can get into the neck, lean into the shoulder, and pause, other way. Pause. Then the back of the hand either stays on your lower back or peeks around your waist if you've got some flexibility there to do that. And you just take a few more breaths. Two more. And then release your head, the bind, just maybe side to side again. And just notice how maybe that one side feels a little bit more stretched out. So needing to create some balance for the other side. So ear to shoulder. Maybe that's it for today, just hanging out here. Maybe you add that right hand on top. Just use the weight. Left arm out, palm towards your screen, and just do little circles one way. Pause, other way. Pause here. Hand stays at your lower back or peek around all the way if you can. Start your deep breath. Release your neck, release your shoulder. Some shoulder circles might feel good after that. Big shoulder circles one way, pause, and other way. I'm going to do one more thing from cross-legged, so it might be good to take a little break from that, a little posture break from that, and maybe going side to side, whatever feels good. Then you're going back to that place again. Most people sitting cross-legged just doesn't feel good a long time, and you need to stretch out a little bit. We're going to do in yoga, we call it eagle arms. A lot of the poses are named after animals, even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we're going to have our hands facing each other, arms out, right arm on bottom, going to cross at the elbow, maybe wrap around again and cross at the wrist, palms touching. That's ideal, but if you're not there, that's all right. You're going to look up and you're going to pulse your arms up. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay at the top. You're going to do a great big circle clockwise. Great big circle. So your fingers at the top of a clock. Other way. Pause at the top. Counterclockwise. Up. And up. Almost done. Stay here. And then tip your hands to the right. Center. Left. Center. One more. Right. Center. And left. Center. Release. That can be a lot. Let's just let that go. Take a couple breaths. Again, do any posture break that you need to do. So we're going to do that on the other side. All right, so getting ready. So it's the same starting position. Hands facing towards each other. This time the left goes on the bottom. So cross at your elbows and then cross around at your wrists. Some people just stay here, but if you can, your palms will touch. So just see, and my thumbs are interlaced. Here we go. I know it's a lot. My shoulders already feel tired. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep going. 4, 3, 2. Pause at the top. I know it's tiring. We're going to do great big clock circles one way. Pause at the top and other way. How's your breathing? Pause at the top, tip to the right, and center, and left, and center. One more time. You're almost done. Right, and center, and left, and center. Whew. Let that go. That can be a lot. So just move your shoulders back and forth if that's helpful. Maybe look over the shoulders again if that's helpful. From here, you're going to move to the tabletop position. So on your hands and knees. Hands and knees position. All right. From here, we're going to do our cats and cows. We do these seated as well. See the difference from hands and knees. So on an inhale, drop your belly. Look up. On an exhale, arch. Pull your belly in. Inhale, drop your belly. Look up. And exhale, arch. 2 more like this. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Back to neutral. So a neutral spine is actually quite challenging because our tendency is either to do a little bit of a cow, right? Swaying the back. See my back swayed a little bit. Or we naturally arch a little bit. So to get neutral, got to pull your belly up and in. Stay there. Moving this bolster out of the way. Got some room behind me. Hopefully you have room behind you as well. And extend the right leg long, pinky toe down. So what we don't want, this is what I see every day, is this kind of thing. That means you're getting into your lower back, which is bad. So we curl our toe down and keep it low. If you have to go lower, that's all right. Left arm, thumb up, and we pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left hand down, right foot's crossing over. It's on the floor. You're crossing as far as you can up on your tippy toes. Once you get stable, take a glance over your left shoulder to the bottom of your foot. From here, release that leg. Again, you're not going this high, keeping it parallel to your mat. Other arm out, stay here. If you can, reach to the top of the foot. In and open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Long arm, long way. And then release into your child's pose. So knees are as wide as your mat or wider. Big toes touch. And we just take a break. So just stay here, taking a few breaths. I'm coming up just because it's hard to hear if my mouth is on the mat. So take a couple of breaths in your child's pose. So child's pose is a rest pose, but it's also a really good hip opener. So think about all the good work you're doing for your hips right now. And one more breath there. Coming up, we need to do this on the other side. So this time it's the left leg. And again, it's hard if you don't have a mirror to see, but try to put the pinky toe down and the leg's not too high. Right arm, and we pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right hand down, left crosses over. You're up on your tippy toes. Walk, walk, walk. Look, there went my water bottle. Look over your shoulder to the bottom of your foot, like there's something stuck there. You're checking. And then leg goes long, arm goes long. Option 1, just holding here, which is a good option. Option 2, we reach. Okay. You decide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Long arm, long leg, everybody. One more breath. Release back to that child's pose. Getting a good stretch. Opening your hip. And how is your breath? Can you go back to that smooth yoga breathing? And then coming back up. And you get ready for the first downward dog of the class. So curl your toes under. Inhale. Exhale. We're in that perfect V shape. Just pausing here, doing good work for our shoulders. From here, come up on your tippy toes and down. It's called heel raises. Up on your tippy toes and down. 2 more. Last one. From here, walking the dog, which simply means bend one knee, bend the other. So we're trying to get into that calf and Achilles tendon. All right, coming back down. From here, ground your left leg, right leg high. You're going to step forward in between your hands. This is our runner's lunge. Runner's lunge. So maybe, my blocks. Maybe you have your blocks on either side like this. From here, you're going to release your hands. I'm going to be cut off the screen, but you can see I'm just reaching back behind me. My hands are clasped like this, steeple hands, and I'm reaching behind, giving myself a back stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath. From here, hands frame the block. And extend your leg long like this. So here you are at your hamstring, breathing through it. One more breath here. Last thing, bend that knee. Left hand is on the big toe side. I'm moving my blocks so you can see a little bit better. And then right arm up. You can stay here or curl the toes under and do it off. The knee off the mat. Doesn't matter either way. 2 more breaths. One more. The knee was up. Bring it back down. Frame the foot. And just step back into your downward facing dog. A couple deep breaths here. Maybe one more. Pulling your heels maybe a little bit closer to the mat. From here, ground the right leg, left leg high, stepping forward. That back knee is on the mat. If you have tender knees, you can just put something under your knee, some type of padding. And from here, you're going to release your hands in that steeple mudra or this shape. And we're reaching back. 2 more breaths. And then framing that foot, maybe your hands are on the block, extending the left leg long. Left hip back, right hip forward. Shine your heart. Remember that idea of hinging rather than rounding. And just feel if your hamstring is going to release a little bit or not. From here, bend the knee, right hand big toe side, left arm up. You can either stay here or come off the back knee. Knee back on the mat, hand frames the foot. We're just going to come to a seated position as a transition to go on our back. Taking a moment to get back to seated. And then you're going to come on your back. You're going to do a spinal stretch before Shavasana. So you're going to hug your right knee in. Hug your right knee in. Then take your left hand to help pull that knee over. Now, if the knee does not easily, right knee, does not easily touch the floor, Hopefully you have something like a block. You can put it on. And then the other arm's out. Right arm out long. So this is really getting into your back. We don't usually start classes with this type of a stretch. We want to warm up the back a little bit first. So a couple more deep, easy yoga breaths here. And sometimes at the end of class, the mind is more likely to wander as you're starting to think, oh, I'm almost done. What will I eat for lunch? What will I do next? So that's sometimes a challenging point, just to try to stay mindful the last few minutes. And then pulling that right knee in, knee to nose. That leg goes long, switching sides. So again, a block might be useful. So you hug the left knee in, and then you're pulling it across the body, and just notice. So if it doesn't easily reach the floor like this, and it's more hanging, that's not really good for your back because you're pulling. So you put a block or two blocks and have it there like that. Look over your opposite, in this case, left arm. From here, you're going to take that knee, hug your knee back in, knee to nose. And then we're going to get ready for final rest. So giving you the opportunity to stay on your back if that's restful for you. You can do knees together. This is called constructive rest pose. Really good if you've got any lower back issues. You can do this one, Supta Baddha Konasana, which gives you an added stretch on the inner thighs. You can just stretch. Usually this is what we do, right? We just stretch out and relax. Some people prefer to in class seated. So if you want to do that, you can come up in a seated position like we started. So you take a moment to decide. Just have a couple of minutes here. So whatever position you've chosen, and usually when I look around a full class, everyone's doing something different, which I think is great. Everyone's choosing what is best for them. So whatever position you chose, is there something you could do to make yourself 10% more comfortable? What would that be? Wiggling around a little bit, stretching a little bit, whatever it might be. We want to really enjoy these last couple of minutes, which are really the most important part of the class, where we have the opportunity to let all of the goodness from the stretches really sink in. So wherever you are, can you sink in a little bit deeper? Sink into your mat, sink into your chair, sink into your seat if you're seated. And just imagining your body being very heavy. Imagine your body being warm, heavy and warm as you just sink into your seat. And notice if there are still areas of tension in the body or even in the mind. Our mind is really a bigger issue for many of us than our bodies. And can you let that go, really without moving much at all or moving at all, just letting go of any mental or physical tension. And then bring your attention to your shoulders, where we hold so much tension in our shoulders. Can you just melt your shoulders a little bit more down to the floor? If you're seated, just imagining your shoulders melting down back. And then bringing your attention to your jaw, another place of tension, teeth grinding and clenching and all kinds of stuff. So just taking a moment to almost imagine like you were unhinging your jaw, you're making it very nice and loose. And bring your attention to your eyes. All those little muscles around your eyes that all day long we're squinting at our phones or computers, or even the bright sunshine. So imagine that completely smooth, those muscles relax. And then finally bringing your attention to your forehead, another area that we often crunch up when we're angry or confused or concentrating. So can you make that area completely smooth as well? Just enjoy for one moment this feeling of softness. If you're seated, it starts from your tailbone, goes all the way to the crown of your head. Those are the chakras, the 7 chakras. If you're lying down, it starts at your tips of your toes and goes all the way to the crown. Couple more moments here of silence and complete relaxation. And from here, if you're lying down, you're just going to wiggle fingers and toes and do what would feel natural, maybe a stretch overhead or side to side. And everyone will roll up towards the seated position. That's where we always stop class, in class, and often start class as well. So just taking a moment, if you're not already in seated, to come back to seated, shoulders back and down. Make a goal here to keep this beautiful posture throughout your Monday and maybe throughout the whole week. Hands to person, just take a moment of gratitude of showing up today for yoga. And salute the divine light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Quincy's over here being a really good boy, snoring. I don't know if anyone hears you. See if you could come up. You want to wake up? Come on, say hello to everybody before we say goodbye. All right, here we go. Bye. Can you see the screen? There we go. There we go. Have a good day, everybody. Yoga dog. That's a yoga dog. See you.